Hey y'all, welcome back to our second video. Yay! I'm Spencer.
And I'm Griffin.
And today we're going to be going through our favorite gay TV shows and movies.
All of these are an absolute must watch. If you haven't seen them, by the end of this, I think you're going to want to watch them all. That part. Also, I feel like we need to tell y'all sorry for not posting this past week. I was sick.
And we've been busy.
We filmed an entire video.
We own businesses.
No, I don't have bookings. I work. You got a job? Baby, I own businesses.
Yeah. We filmed an entire video this past Saturday, and it was terrible.
It was rough.
Terrible. Quality over quantity. Snaps, baby.
I think we should get into it.
Let's jump right into it. First movie, Call Me By Your Name. If you've been watching us for a while, you know that this is one of our favorite movies and also one of the reasons Spencer ended up coming out. Yeah,
it was very influential in my self-acceptance journey.
So Call Me By Your Name follows Elio and Oliver through a summer in northern Italy, and I think it's 1983. Oliver is Elio's dad's exchange student. I think he's like getting his master's degree.
He's studying with them for the summer.
And Elio is basically witnessing this entire thing, and there's like a revolving door of students each summer. At first, Elio is kind of like, who does this guy think he is? Like, I can't really stand him. And then it turns into this amazing love story that is built on so much foreshadowing. Basically, a lot of actions, not words, if that makes sense.
It's also very nuanced in that you kind of have to read between the lines. I remember when I first saw it, I didn't understand a lot of things that were going on until I looked deeper into it and even read the book. Reading the book will like really show you what everything
If you watch the movie, you have to read the book after, because then you will understand the details to like a T.
It makes everything just click. One of the biggest aspects of the movie is that their time is limited and that Oliver is leaving at the end of the summer, which kind of sets it up to be the tragic story that it is.
So my key takeaway from the movie was basically that while their love was, very short-lived, it still remains timeless, especially to Elio. And if you make it through the movie and you get to the final scene, you're going to see that for yourself. It takes your heart out, stomps on it, drags it through the mud, runs it over with a Kia Soul, backs over it with a transfer truck. It is the most gut-wrenching scene in all of movie history, and I cry every single time. And if you read the book, you will sob like an infant.
And that is what makes it beautiful. It is able to have such an impact on people.
It also just kind of shows that within a short period of time of love, that it can change your life for an eternity. It can help you discover yourself. It helps you learn parts about yourself that you had no idea even existed.
After watching this movie, vividly remember I would get up for school and listen to some of the playlists and just cry. Especially Elio's dad's monologue at the end says some really impactful things that I think anyone going through a self-discovery journey could really appreciate. So for our second movie, this one is maybe less well known. It is called Firebird, and it's set in the 1970s Soviet Cold War era. It follows Sergei and Roman as they navigate a blossoming relationship while in the military in an environment that condemns homosexuality, and
is also punishable by law during all this.
Very much not allowed, and they have to keep it secret and try to navigate that.
But the story becomes really complicated. I'm not going to get too much into it, but Sergei's best friend Luisa is also seeing this man. And he's basically keeping up the facade because he has no choice, because otherwise they're spending all this time together.
Because there's some narcs out there. So yeah, it has a tragic ending, which is a common theme among a lot of these gay movies.
And y'all, the ending is so unexpected. It's so good. And it really, I'm not going to say what it does to you because I feel like that kind of gives it away. But you don't think this is going to happen.
I would say one of my key takeaways from this movie is it highlights the toll that repressing your identity takes on you and shows the lengths that gay people have had to go through throughout history, really.
It has to do a lot with resilience and fighting depression, anxiety, and all these things. I mean, obviously they don't say it outward. It's a read between the lines what they're battling, but it is just overall a powerful love story, and I think everybody should watch it.
Yeah, and while not as extreme for a lot of people in today's society, I think those themes are very relatable in some sense, and that we've all kind of felt the toll of hiding who we are and how we feel.
And for our next movie, we're going to talk about a movie that is definitely a little popular, but some of you...
Just a little.
Some of you may have wrote it off as been like, oh, this... Everybody says blah, blah, blah about it. Brokeback Mountain. This movie... so good.
I'm trying to Brokeback Mountain.
And being a little fellow country boy myself, this movie hit home so hard, especially like just like the setting and like where I grew up. And if you're a small town boy like me, this movie is going to absolutely wreck your world. And obviously a theme for all these movies is that they wreck your heart. I don't know what to tell you, y'all. I didn't write the scripts to none of these.
No, Luke.
So basically the plot of this movie is it's set in Western America, and Jack and Ennis are these two cowboys who were sent up on a mountain together.
Like a working ranch.
Yeah, like a working ranch.
They're herding sheep, I think.
Yeah, and they're basically like taking turns.
And they're alone.
Watching the sheep. So they're not spending that much time together at first.
And then something brings them to start camping together. Things just kind of go from there. After that, it follows them throughout the decades that come.
Mind you, they're both married.
Kind of follows what happens when time and circumstances separate two people who have a deep bond, and it's almost a right person, wrong environment, maybe wrong time, wrong everything.
This movie kind of follows a time when in America that it was severely frowned upon to be gay. People would do things to you, like basically you would be treated so unfairly that like if you came out, your life was basically ruined.
And I think it's set in like the 1960s. It shows how damaging unfulfilled love can be and what that does to a person over time. I also think it really speaks to conforming to masculine ideals.
One thing I love about this movie is the extreme love that it portrays. Like a lot of these movies are like a read between the lines, like it's subtle. This is not. Extreme, hard
and
love.
And it's very raw.
And that's one of the reasons I love this movie.
Rounding out our last movie is God's Own Country. It follows Johnny. He lives on his parents' rural farm, and one day George comes to help them out on the farm. Johnny's very repressed. You can tell that he hasn't really opened up with his sexuality
Basically
at all.
Self-isolation. Working like all the time.
And so George comes and he has these sort of feelings towards George. And it goes through them exploring that newness with Johnny.
It's super raw, it's emotional, and it's also set in like a beautiful place. This one honestly didn't touch my heart as much as the other ones did.
But it's still a great watch, and I think it explores many of the same themes that we've already talked about.
It's just like beating a dead horse at this point.
But if you're like us, you can't get enough of any gay movie. Just love to see representation, honestly.
Exactly, yeah.
I think it's time to get into TV shows.
Agreed, and I think we should start off with our very favorite TV show,
Fellow Travelers.
If you haven't seen this one, this is a must. This is the gay 50 Shades of Grey.
No, okay, that's a little exaggerated. It's set back in like the 1950s during the Lavender Scare. It's not.
They be getting after.
No, like they be getting after,
and it's
but
graphic.
it's not like 50 Shades of Grey like plot is what that kind of made it sound like.
I don't think
you said this is the
that.
gay 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, but it low key kind of is.
Girl, no, it's not.
They be getting after it.
It's not like him bringing. Okay.
Whatever. Y'all about to see me and Spencer beef over a movie.
Knock down, drag.
Fucking rip my fucking shit off the good.
So the TV show follows Hawk and Skippy throughout mid-20th century America during the Lavender Scare, where gay individuals in the government were persecuted and fired from their jobs, essentially.
One of my favorite things about this TV show is it follows their love over like a long period of time. I think it's even decades. And it kind of just shows how while their lives transform and how they change as people, they keep coming back to each other because it's what they know, it's what they love. They are each other's one true love, in a sense, kind of.
It also touches on the AIDS epidemic, which I think you don't see a lot of shows and movies that do talk about that. Also, the spicy scenes are fire.
The spicy scenes are
Matt
insane.
Matt Bomer and Jonathan Bailey, I think is his name.
This TV show, so it follows Hawk, who's an outspoken manly man in a sense, and then Skippy, who is like more shy, reserved, and not as like, I guess like macho as Hawk.
Yeah.
And it follows like their love story and like how beautiful it is. But one of the main themes that it touches on is time apart and like how changing over time, and it also hits on politics a lot, which y'all are probably gonna watch the first episode and be like, y'all, what is going on? Make it through that first episode, just the first 30 minutes, and you will be into it. I can assure you that, because I was not into it for the first like 30 minutes.
Oh my god, ow. I'm gonna finish the episode back here, y'all.
The emotional depth in this TV show is out of this world. It is probably my favorite gay TV show to exist, period.
Mic drop. My key takeaways of this show are very similar to all the other things we've addressed. There's some common themes that go on. Clearly I'm boring, my boyfriend. It talks about, again, that kind of forbidden love. Similar to Firebird, you have these external opposing forces that are essentially coming after them.
All right, y'all. So our key takeaways for fellow travelers is definitely kind of the same as most of the other movies, TV shows that we've talked about.
It centers around that forbidden love, oppressive environment. And it kind of makes you value, as the person watching it, the freedom and ability that we have to express ourselves nowadays. It's not something that we used to be able to do. It makes you really grateful.
It does. It makes you incredibly thankful that we live in a world where we can love who we want to love. We don't have to deal with everything that people before us had to deal with.
Yeah, and my heart goes out to all of you out there that might be watching this that aren't in circumstances where you can freely express yourself safely.
Just know that our DMs are always open and we love you guys.
And for our final show, I've never seen this show, and I know it is wildly popular, so some of y'all are about to be like,
Spencer,
oh, wait.
you never watched that? So our next TV show and last TV show is Heartstopper. And I know y'all are going to be like, Spencer, you haven't watched that? You haven't watched that, Spencer? No, he hasn't. I've tried to get him to watch it. He says it's like cheesy and corny.
Pause. Griffin watched it without me, keep in mind.
Because you wouldn't watch it with me.
And wrong, he started it without me, and therefore, yeah, I mean, I just didn't watch. I'm not gonna lie, guys.
I did not start it without him. When season 2 came out, I was like, we can rewatch season 1. And he was like, no, I don't want to watch that. That's cheesy and corny.
Maybe if enough people comment, tell me to watch it, I'll watch it.
So Heartstopper is about 2 young boys. I think they're in high school. They are in high school. One of them is like, knows who he is. He knows his sexuality, and that's Charlie. And he kind of plays more of the initiator role. And then there's Nick Nelson, who is like a closeted rugby guy, but he doesn't even know that he's gay at the start of the TV show. And it kind of just like follows their love as well as like many of their friends' love. And it introduces like all different types of love. I mean, there's lesbian couples, there's trans couples. It really shows so much diversity.
It brings that LGBTQIA, baby.
Yes, it does. And that is one thing I really like about this is just the inclusion of like everyone. And it's so, so, so good. One of the main reasons I think this is so good is because it's not like tragic, it's not heartbreaking. I mean, it definitely has its moments. It definitely has its moments where like it rips your heart a little bit. But it plays on high school love, first love, young love. It plays on like all the things that we all kind of hoped for like when we were younger, and getting to watch, you know, this little friend group kind of experience everything together. It really pulls you into the scene of what you kind of wish you could have had. And I know that's how I felt watching it. Just being like, oh, like, you know, that would have been so great to have in high school. Like such a great friend group that's so supportive, as well as having like a great boyfriend. It's just, it's so beautiful. And I wish Spencer watched it because he's low-key my Nick Nelson. Love it. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it if you want something to just like brighten your spirits, lift up your day, and really like take you back in time.
Honestly, you're kind of selling me on it. That was a great description.
Thank
you
you.
really put your whole Grifflessy into that.
Stop. What do you mean by that?
If you haven't seen it, 10 out of 10, watch if you want to be happy.
If you stayed to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. We seriously hope you check out all of these movies, shows. I think maybe we should go watch Heartstopper now.
I think we might should. Just want to let you guys know that we appreciate y'all so much and we love you. And if you ever need anything, please DM us. Our DMs are always open.
We try to respond to as much as we can.
We try to. It gets deep in there.
It
gets deep. So I don't think 3 of me could answer all of them sometimes.
So we love you guys so much, and see you next time.
Bye.